What is going on, everybody? I'm Alex Hunter, this is HP Builds, and welcome back to the channel. Now, before we jump into today's video, I want to stop and talk about Skids for Kids, because yes, this weekend was about having burnouts and going to a show and having a lot of fun, and we come back with broken stuff, which is what today's video is. But the whole point of it all was to be part of Skids for Kids, help raise money for children in children's hospitals by bringing toys to them to lift their spirits up while they're stuck in the hospital. And as of every event, we've brought thousands of dollars to the local children's hospital. Well, this one was for John Hopkins in Tampa, and we were able to raise $5,200 worth of toys. That is so many toys, I can't even try to explain to you guys what that even looks like. I mean, it took Seth's service truck, took his enclosed trailer, took Andrew's truck with a topper on the bed, and Burnt Toast, his Burnout truck, just to haul everything over there. So shout out to you guys for donating. From here on out, if you ever want to donate at any point in time, let me know and I can go ahead and get toys. We have a tote inside that I will put them in, and when we go to our next Burnout competition with Skids for Kids, we will take those toys with us, and you guys will make dreams happen, because for those poor children that are in those hospitals, they're cooped up inside, they don't get to go do a lot, and when you guys bring $5,200 worth of toys to them, think about how many smiles that equates to. I guarantee you it's more than one smile per dollar. I guarantee you that. So shout out to you guys for helping make that happen. Now, let's get into today's video. This is in fact ours. Guys, so today's video is about getting home, and everything kind of drove on the trailer, as you guys know. Obviously, we've snapped an axle in old No Name, and the Mustang's pretty banged up in the back end, but everything quote unquote does run and drive. So today we're gonna get everything off the trailer, that way I can get the Mustang inside, I can get the truck out here and get Dad's Merker out of the way and get to start working on these things. Today, there's gonna be no wrenches turned. It's just gonna be assessing the damage a little more in depth from what I did in the 2 or 3 minutes I had at Cleetus and Cars. So let's get this comedy act on the way, trying to get this truck to not drop a wheel on its way off, shall we? This is going a little bit better than I thought. I thought as soon as I got the truck halfway down the ramp, this tire would start walking out, and it waited until I turned the wheel to walk out just a little bit. So we're in good shape. We'll pick it up, shove it back in, and we're gonna start walking this truck all the way over, right up against One Day. All right, so I'm not gonna lie to you. This was a lot easier than I anticipated. I anticipated having to pick this axle up and shove the wheel on about 4 or 5 times, and I only had to do it 2 or 3. So a lot easier than I anticipated. It moved a lot better in full-wheel drive. And now that's no name's home for a good while until I can line up an axle, because I've looked, and everyone that I've reached out to that has a truck they're parting out, I ask them, hey, what about the axle? And they keep telling me it's sold. So if you have an axle, please let me know, because I want to get old No Name back up and running. And I want to see if we can pop these tires, because there's a lot of tread on them. Now it's time to go ahead and get the Mustang off the trailer and out here on the gravel. And I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, Alex, why not put it straight in the garage? Well, the Merker has a little issue. So Dad brought it over here while we were gone because it was so freaking cold that he didn't want to leave the car outside. So he brought it in, put it in here, and the second he turned the car off, he smelt fuel. He climbed under the car, and there is a little puddle of fuel that is accumulated under the car. So we think it's probably something minor, because it's clearly not dumping fuel, it's just a slow drip. So we're thinking that it's probably just a fuel line, a little connector or something that is dry rotted or corroding away. So we need to give it some attention before we fire this car back up. So the Mustang is going to be outside for a little bit until we get this thing looked at tonight and solved hopefully by tomorrow. So let's get the Mustang off and let's start looking at some of the damage that we caused to it. So as I was unstrapping the car, I noticed one thing, and one big thing. The trunk lid is not where it is supposed to be. And let me show you what I mean. So right here, you can see, I think you guys can see, maybe, yeah. See how the elevation is different right here? Plus, we have a huge gap. And then really tight, really tight gap right there, where all this has been pushed in. But then over here, the entire thing is tight all the way down. So this side, of course, it ate a little bit of the wall right here, but it didn't bend any of the sheet metal, which tells me it wasn't a very hard side crash, right? We didn't hit very hard to tweak this in. So how in the world did this trunk go this way from getting hit over here? I'm hoping I pop the trunk and I find that the bolts on the trunk lid can actually be moved and they've just wiggled loose over the years. But this right here, it's definitely, it's even got a wrinkle right up there. So yeah, we're a little elevated. So when we pushed this in, this whole thing turned a little bit. But I say that's a little wrinkle. I think it's just a little ding, like maybe it's been there. I don't know. But yeah, so let's pop this trunk and see what we're doing as far as alignment, because it's not aligned. I mean, let's look at the tail lights. So tail lights got a good gap, and we got a good gap. So what exactly happened? Did it pull this whole thing away? I don't know. Let's pop the trunk, see what we can make happen. Well, it opens just fine. And see, this came in contact right there. Oh, I see. So it doesn't bolt to the belly of this trunk pan here. It actually bolts to the side. So when this got hit and tweaked, it actually bends this. See over here, we're sitting straight up and down. Whereas over here, we're a little crooked. That's what it is. So how far back and how far deep into this car does that wrinkle go? Because there is no adjusting that. Huh. Interesting. Well, that's not what I wanted by any means. That kind of sucks. But I'm gonna turn the camera off. I'm gonna take a flashlight. I'm gonna kind of look inside this fender, look at the gas can, the gas fuel line, see what we're dealing with, see how far back this tweak goes. I'm kind of surprised it didn't wrinkle in here, because when you get here, you're very stiff because of the roll cage. So it all has to be right in here. That very well may be something that can be pulled out. And I don't even know if I want to even mess with it if it's just that little gap. I might be able to do it by hand and call that good. So let me get a flashlight. I'll check back in with you guys in a second. So it's not as bad as it looks. So basically this outer skin molds into this trunk lid rim right in here and goes around the tail light. So this is very weak. It wrinkled right up here, right in front of this mount, because that mount is the strongest piece back here. So what I think can happen, because you can actually get to this from inside, as you can see over there, right? You can get right there and push out. So you should be able to pull this out. It will pull this away from the tail light and just kind of bring everything around and clock it back into position. And then from there, that should pull this out, and that trunk should look a whole lot cleaner than what it does right now. But everything works as it should. So this is what it should look like. It should be about that close all the way around. And as you can see, it's just rotated, pushing that mount out and pushing it in back there. So not too bad. Honestly, looks a lot worse than it actually is. But other than that, I'm gonna look at these clips on this bumper, and I would like to see if we can snap this bumper back in and just clean up the scuff marks and leave it for a while, because that would honestly make things a lot easier for me if I could just snap it back in. I will say, me climbing around the trunk, I hit the back of the bumper and it popped back out again. So doesn't look too promising for the bumper, but let's see if we can get some clips back in. Well, that side popped in real easy. Other than this top mount's toast. But the side's in, and it's honestly kind of rigid over here. And this took more of the force. Let's see that other side and see if we get as lucky. All right, well, I can tell you right here, right at the start, this top mount is worse than that side. And that one won't go in. So my guess is this one's not gonna go in either. And that bottom clip right here, heck, it's actually still in. It's just ripped away from the bumper. Goodness. This one actually looks worse than that side, and that took the load. Almost as if this got hit and drug out. Instead of just popping out like that side did just by hit, it almost looks like it got drugged because it ripped it here. Everything else looks fine. So hopefully we can get it tight in here. Let's see. stay. That one right there don't want to stay for nothing. But it's in there. We've definitely broke some supports down at the bottom. Like right here. This piece, this tab, oh yeah. This tab's ripped. Oh, it snapped back out. Yeah, this thing got ripped out. Wow. That's crazy. All right, guys, this side is in way worse shape than that side. Come on, pop back in. So I guess that's gonna be it for this side. I think, I don't know about you guys, but I think it's safe to say that this bumper, it will not be with us come next spring. I think it's time to retire this bumper. It was good while it lasted, but if this whole entire bottom edge right here is busted, both top latches are busted, I think it's safe to say we need to get rid of it. So come next spring, this bumper will not be at any races or burnout competitions. And maybe I need to look at trying to build a bolt-on bumper, so to speak, that is more metal and can disperse the load to the other side. And that way, if I do hit the wall, I don't hit sheet metal. I just go to the chassis of the car and disperse the load over the chassis. And maybe that's what I need to do. But for now, this is what we got. That side looks a lot better than this side, because this is actually a lot tighter. But yeah, bumper is gone. So might be the last time you guys see this bumper. So who knows? But all right, on to the next problem. All right, well, now that we know what we're dealing with on the Mustang, it needs some sheet metal repair and needs a new back bumper. I want to bring up something that I forgot on No Name. So as you guys can see, this fuel fill line here is protected by this redneck engineered cover. And that is because if this tire was to blow, it was going to go right into the cap and rip it off the fuel tank. And that was going to be problematic, right? Because all your fuel lines and everything are right there at the end of that filler line. So we wanted to build some kind of cover just to get us through the event. And I'll tell you what, when I got down to the event to fill this truck up, I started putting gas in it on the trailer, and I noticed that at the bottom of the line where it connects to the tank was severely dry rotted. And as I was filling it up, it was dripping a little bit of fuel. When I wasn't filling it up and I only put about a half tank in it, it wasn't leaking. So I knew it wasn't the tank, it was the actual fuel line. So that's no big deal, because this entire system here, the tank, the cover, the neck, all that, I want it to go away. And I want to kind of do what Side by Side Blog has on their truck and build a plate that comes back here to the cab and put a little fuel cell up here away from the differential, away from both tires, and kind of protect it in a way because it's not in the line of fire. So like I said, small problem, but still needed to bring it up while it was fresh on my mind. So guys, I think this is probably where I'm going to end this video. And I tell you what, the next video is going to be nothing but this new trailer of ours. So this new trailer, as I said, it has a winch on it that's not wired up. It has bolt holes up on the gooseneck that are for lights, and there's no lights. It has a battery rack with no battery. So we're going to spend some time on the trailer. We're going to get everything electrical working on it. We're even going to come back here. We've got one little marker light that is, the wires are a little loose and it keeps getting ripped every time I go to pull the ramp out. So we got to fix that. We're even going to put some LED tail lights on the back of it, but that's going to be next video. So if you've made it this far in today's video, I appreciate you guys for watching. Please like this video. Please subscribe to the channel, and we will see you guys in the next video.